Hello everybody, and welcome to today's presentation on Prospero. Prospero is an all-in-one software solution for reporting, budgeting, and forecasting to bring the easy button to those processes. My name is Derek Krebs. I'm a senior consultant with the MSX Group, and I've been doing this for approximately 28 years, and it's been a fun and interesting background. The founding members of MSX Group and myself, we started back at FRX Software, where we had such great reporting and budgeting products that Microsoft acquired us. So we helped deliver to the tens of thousands of users those flagship products on the reporting side of FRX, then later branded as Manager Porter. And then on the budgeting side, Microsoft Forecaster. And then approximately 13 years ago, we got spun off and released to the market the Prospero application. I'll spend approximately the next 10 minutes with you, just giving you a nice overview of the application. And one main takeaway from this slide is please jot down my email because I'll be your source for information for any questions or requests for a demonstration. And we even have a free trial version of Prospero you can use, including your own data reports to give you a great confirmation of its power and ease and a free jump start on your implementation. Speaking of a few little highlights of the application, there is on the reporting and budgeting elements and the bottom little bullet point to emphasize again, we have the migration for all those hard work and reports that you have in FRX and Manager Porter. We can convert and bring those into Prospero. That's going to save you tons of time and effort in that regard. Or anybody that was using the Microsoft Forecaster application, similar note, we can bring your budget balances into the application to save, again, a lot of time and effort. Furthermore, for the reporting aspects, you see a nice little dashboard of graphing that we introduced inside the tool many years ago. And Prospero has its own data warehouse. The advantage to that is definitely your general ledger reporting, but including non-general ledger data. So any statistics, any budgets, you name it, we also can include inside the Prospero data warehouse for your nimble reporting that you're probably manually collecting some of those offline data sets. And what we did is we took the best things of the Microsoft applications, meaning its ease of use, the reusable rows, columns, and trees. We brought that inside the application. And wherever they lacked, we add tons of new features. And then, of course, on the budgeting side, instead of two separate applications, what it used to be, it's now one cohesive tool. And maybe many of you are using spreadsheet Excel pains to do so. So Prospero can solve those pain points and automate and centralize that process. And it has all the bells and whistles, including detail screens for revenue, human resources, capital, line item details, just to name a few, including audit history and instant consolidations of that budget and actual data. So there's no need to import and exports actuals and budgets to and from the system. This slide, the Prospero differentiators, I'll just highlight a couple that most you've heard here. And one of my favorite features is the ability to drill down and drill order being one of the most robust out there in the market. Since I also work with about 4 or 5 other competing products, that's one of my favorite features and functionality. And that 13th item, a great value and return on your investment. I'm a penny pincher in our household because Prospero is a fraction of the cost of similar products with robust features like Prospero. So don't overpay for software costs and implementation. And again, I'll encourage you to, again, join that free trial version of Prospero. All right, let me then show you a few screens inside the application. I'm logged in now as an end user. Regardless of how you deploy it, it could be installed on your servers on-premise, or secondly, you could have MSX Group host it, which most of our new clientele is doing so, or you might have a third party that's hosting a lot of your applications, which we can easily deploy it there. It looks and feels the same regardless. And as an end user, I have the two primary areas, reports, and secondly, input, meaning budgeting and forecasting. Here, maybe every month, I get 2 reports, like actual budget or a rolling 12-month, or maybe it's that time of year you want me to do some budget input. I've opened up a report previously, and let me now drill into the report, analyzing, let's say, this top row for sales. And when I double click, I see the next level down, which are my different departments of my one Denver location that I'm viewing. So here's Department A sales or Department B marketing. And when I drilled in, I see data across all columns, meaning actual, prior year budget and variances, because most other more costly applications, you only drill into a single cell, which I despise, but I get that great analysis. And even I can continue downward all the way down to the account and transaction level. So here's all the transactions for maybe this year or month, or if I scroll down last year or the prior month based on the different columns that you have. And even we can include transaction detail, informative stuff like vendor or customer that was paid to or received from, all at my fingertips. No need to have access to your GL, just have access to Prospero. And I'm going to close this out. Now, here's the prior window when I drilled in from looking at all departments to just those two I drilled into. And I'll at least call your attention, but I won't be able to fully demonstrate the ability to change the drill order. Because here is maybe hierarchically, I want to analyze company first, followed by the different locations within, and then maybe the departments within the locations. And I can easily come up here and drag and drop, or in other words, I do not have to go to a second, third, or fourth report, which is the story in your current world or our competing products will have to do. And if I were to come up here and drill in, I would then see a different slice of that data. Here in the top, change drill order, which is one of my favorite features. Well, let's graphically look at the data. As I'm just going from the left to the right on other toolbar icons, I can now graphically see that data and even drill in. So here's my margin analysis, this year, prior year, and budget. And then when I drill in, it could then go down to the next level, meaning the different departments and or locations that I've defined the drill order for. And what I did to save also time in that regard is I'm looking inside my viewer, one example of 3 on report collections, where I'm seeing multiple reports at once, like to the left, multiple reports, and to the right, multiple graphs. Usually I look at the data graphically inside the viewer. Or otherwise, second example of 3 is that same report collection, meaning multiple reports, in Excel. So how about my banker or board member? Here's income statement, balance sheet, cash flow. We even can include the account details that we saw earlier. Or how about third and finally, how about I'm producing report books, maybe in PDF. So here's a PDF file. I'm skimming down. There's report or page 2, report or page 3, 4, etc., which you're probably manually and painstakingly doing right now. And then if I come back to the end user's application, how about this budget data? Instead of me going to a spreadsheet looking at that data, I'm going to go back one step because I opened up this report actual to budget, but I'm now going to open up a budget screen. And then obviously I'll wind down in the next moment or two. I might pull up 10 departments, but I can reuse that same row column tree over and over and over, which just means, hey, I just create maybe one row of my income statement and I could use it across 100 different location departments. And then through the tree structure, it automatically gets consolidated. So here's my budget screen, like here's salaries. I have line item details I'm going to expand to see and break out maybe my budget for advertising further. Or here's my salary. I'm going to come here to the HR tab, see it by person or position. Or my capital purchases, maybe in IT, where I need some new furnitures and fixtures. So here is where I'm buying some new capital that could also flow to our balance sheet and cash flow budget. And then also I can add annotations, not only in my original report, like this little bullet point here. I can then explain variances here to the right, like who added that memo and when. I'll just simply come up here and thumbtack that. And that's maybe a historical note as I'm looking or comparing last month's data. But then I'll finally go back to the budget screen. And then here I have some similar annotations and notes. And I'll show the annotations column here to the right. But we have tons more I'd love to share with you. But as I wind down and some other takeaways here is a big thank you for joining us today. I'd love to share more of the application, one-on-one demonstration of that free trial. And then here's one concluding slide with, again, my contact information. Again, my name's Derek Krebs, a senior consultant with the MSX Group. You can see a recording, a full hour length, in this bottom bullet point. But otherwise, reach out at any time. I'll be glad to address any questions, or we have a whole team that can also do similar. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day. Thank you very much.